but
It's
it is
fabulous.
time to bring up Dr. Brody Miller. S- So, Dr. Brody, what kind of a doctor are you, sir?
I am a brain rehabilitation specialist with my uh, PhD in natural medicine.
Wow. So I would guess you could probably help me out. I had a traumatic brain injury, but that's for a different time and day. So if you would like to tell us a little bit about yourself and then how we can get a hold of the book and what we're going to experience with the book, I would appreciate that.
Sure, I'd love to. Well, I'll start with the fact that everything in life is our about our identity and how we identify the words that we use, how we use those words to describe ourselves. And I was not always a doctor. I was many other things in my life. So growing up, I was a little bit of an outcast. I grew up in a beautiful area in North Carolina with lots of trees, lots of animals growing up, two wonderful parents. But I felt like an outcast because I was one of the only few Jewish kids in my school. And so life was good, but I always had this kind of desire to fit in with others. And at first, that kind of manifested through sports. I love playing baseball, basketball, football, anything, you name it, because I was in my happy place. I felt so good. I felt like I was just another one of the people there in the school. But I never grew. I was a basketball player. I never really grew. And so I was cut from the high school basketball team, which was my passion at that time. So, what did I know to get into to still fit in with the crowd? I think so many of us can relate. Is I got into drugs and alcohol. And we all know that's a slippery slope, right? Because if that is your happy place, if that's where you get your chemistry going, then we all know it's an addictive tendency and it leads to bad things. So, long story short, I was not into good things at that time, but 12 years ago, in my drunken state, for some reason, I decided to get in a fight with a bouncer who was like 3 times my size outside of a nightclub in where I'm from in Asheville, North Carolina. And this guy was a big individual, and he knocked me out so hard that I landed on the concrete pavement. I was out cold for over 5 minutes. And to add insult to injury, it was caught on a local news TV station. And so everybody and their grandma saw me kind of at my lowest moment, over 100,000 people, really before virality was a real thing. And that honestly was the catalyst that ended up making me write this book. So, 2 years after that, I developed a brain bleed in my left frontal lobe and it was leaking blood in my brain. And I started to have grand mal seizures. And if you had spoken to me at that time, I had difficulty speaking even basic sentences. And life has its irony because now I'm a speaker and a writer, and it's one of my favorite passions. But at that time, I didn't know much about how the brain can heal. Long story short, is I found out that the idea of neuroplasticity from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he told me that the brain can change, heal, and adapt, that you don't have to be stuck the way you are, that you don't have to accept that this is your new normal. So this gave me rocket fuel and fire to make a comeback. So I got into meditation, visualization, affirmations, smiling, anything, nutrition, anything I could get my hands on to heal what was going on in here. And it didn't heal overnight, but little by little, I started to feel better. And not only that, did I get my cognition back, did I get my ability to speak back, that I got even more that I had no idea that this supercomputer in our brain is incredible of amazing things. And not only that, it's just very resilient, very resilient. And so I got back into school, and this last year I ended up writing my book, Brain Rescue, which I say is a 90-day blueprint to reclaim your memory after a brain injury or a concussion. And it's all about the memory because memory is really everything to us. Because if we don't have a sharp memory, we can't make meaning of our life. And our brain is a meaning making machine. And so without our memory, we lose the essence, the very essence of what it means to be a human being. And so I used all that I learned, not only in my own recovery, but I learned the all of the science that I learned in my studies and with helping others. And I can tell you, our brain and our nervous system is a true miracle. It's a miracle of the miracles of neuroplasticity, which means that your brain and nervous system have the ability to change, heal, and adapt according to our thoughts, our feelings, our actions. And when we smile, it's facial feedback into the rest of our body and our nervous system. And you don't have to do anything crazy or wild. You can just start with simple, tiny movements, pinky movements, moving your hands, doing hand exercises. If anybody wants to join me, we can do that together. Little tiny movements like this activate the circuits of your brain. And to me, that's a miracle because it's all, once again, all about your identity and what you do on a moment to moment basis. It matters. And I'm living a dream. I'm really living a dream being able to speak to you all, being a published author, but more importantly, being able to give that back to the world. So I talk all about the brain, but honestly, it all comes from the heart, uh, because the heart sends the signal to the brain, and perhaps that will be my second book. But if you have a family member, a friend, someone who's just struggling with COVID-19 or any form of brain injury, that things are just not functioning the way that they want them to, then absolutely go check out Brain Rescue. Um, and it will give you many ideas using what I call as the rebound method to step by step get your brain better and get your body better and overall just get back to living your true purpose. I don't know where I am as far as the time frame's concerned, Dr. Smiley.
You're looking good. You still have 1 more minute. So why don't you tell people how they can reach out to you? And it's funny, I would like to actually show you what I was working on in the background while you were doing your thing. So look what I was working on. I was just about to print you with your smile at Secret Knot. So I was going to surprise you with that, but here we are. Anyway, you are an awesome friend. I really enjoyed our lunch together, and I'm looking forward to our two podcasts.
Thank you so much.
So
And
my son is going to take over in the moderation, but why don't you share with people how they can reach out to you?
sure, you can go on Amazon, search Brain Rescue, Brody Miller, and I'll also put the link. My Instagram is Dr. Brody Miller, Dr. Brody Miller, and you can also go to the link for my book, which is dr-bro.com/brain rescue book. So I'll put those in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much, doctor.
Thank you.